Hello, good people. I am so thrilled to be bringing you this interview with Shantina Lynet, a singer,
Yeah.
songwriter out of Chicago, Illinois. Her album, 10,000 Hours, is available on all platforms. And she just released a song called Face It with Franchika, another local Chicago. And we're really excited to welcome Shantina. Thank you so much
Yes,
for joining
thank
me.
you. Thank you, Ella,
Yes.
for having me, on
Yes.
here.
I'm so excited to go into your music. I am just like, you have such a unique voice. And a lot of
Thank
times,
you.
people say like, you sound like so-and-so, you sound like so-and-so, but I cannot place who you sound like. You sound like yourself, right? So tell us, you have
Yeah.
such a range and like a beautiful like sound in your voice. So tell us about your musical background, sort of how you got started, any inspirations, things like that.
Sure. So, well, how I got started into singing music, period, is I was born into it pretty much. I come from a musical family, so my grandparents were all musicians. Like on both sides. Well, they sang. They weren't like professional musicians, but they did music. And then like all of my grandmother's children on my dad's side, they all sang, and they had like a church, so they kind of like um, put my cousins and I together, and we all started singing together like at a young age. So like I was like 4 from what I can remember when I like really started singing like that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we all used to kind of get together and sing. Both of my parents are singers and songwriters as well.
Wow.
And so we kind of used to go around Chicago singing like in a bunch of different churches and stuff too, as a family, as like my immediate family with my mom and my dad. And my 5 siblings.
Wow.
So
Wow. Yeah.
uh yeah, so and then all of us sing, write, play an instrument. Yeah. Just work in the arts, period. So that's how I got started.
Love it. Love it. Were there any like musicians or inspirations that were always playing in your house besides your family? Anybody that really like stuck in your head?
um no, I wouldn't say anybody specific, just because we it's just a lot of music like just around in general. Listening to music to a bunch of different places. Gospel was really prevalent, so I do have like a lot of gospel influences.
Right.
So like if you want to be like specific, my dad was like a really big Fred Hammond fan.
Yes.
Um
I sang him in
and
gospel choir. Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Um, and so yeah, and then of course, like he directed choirs and stuff. Well, still directs choirs. He's actually a minister of music at a church. Um, and so a bunch of choir music is definitely like a very heavy influence on how I think about music, create music, sing music, and approach it as well. Um, and then of course other genres and stuff too. So jazz, because we had did a bunch of jazz gigs and stuff too. And then I have like a bunch of songs in my head, so and like
Yes.
artists too. So when people ask me to narrow it down, it's just
Yes.
like I start rolling through, and I'm like, I can't pick anything out of this Rolodex in my brain right now.
Right.
So, but just a bunch of different genres. They all were just always surrounding us. We always pulled from everywhere for inspiration to learn. Um, yeah, to create. There was no like, I guess, barrier between
Right.
us and any other genre. So, all of them.
Love that.
Does that
Love
answer your
that.
question?
Yes, yes, I love that. So talk to us a little bit about when you started to get inspiration to write your own songs. What was sort of like going through your head? A lot of your songs have to do with sort of, it sounds like life and like relationships and all those different things.
Yeah.
So how did you get into really songwriting for yourself?
Really, as a kid, like just randomly, like I mean, well, okay. So the spiritual answer would be God.
Yes.
God placed a gift inside of me,
Yep.
and I just kind of learned how to cultivate it. And as a kid, I never really knew exactly what I was doing, but I would just be like making up songs off the top of my head and just singing them, just playing with my dolls and
Yeah.
stuff like on my siblings, and doing a bunch of other stuff I'm not gonna get into as a kid. But I was, uh, yeah, I explored a lot.
Yes.
I'll just say that.
Yep.
Um, so like I would just like just write different songs or whatever, just playing around, and then I'll say I wrote my first like for real song when I was like 15.
Okay.
Or it may have been before that actually. It might have been like 13 or something like that. And then my sister recorded the song and we put it on my family's album, which we put out like a long time ago, in like
Oh my
2010 or something.
gosh, we have to get this.
You said what?
I have to get the family album. I need to hear
Oh,
that.
it's not on digital
Oh,
streaming platforms.
okay.
We can only have like physical copies, but I'm sure the album will be on there at some point
Yeah.
whenever we
Yeah.
decide to go back and revisit that.
Love
However, yeah, I mean, it just, um, yeah. And once my sister kind of like recorded it, I started taking it a little bit more serious. And then, uh, After School Matters has a bunch of different
Yep.
programs in
Yep.
Chicago. One of the programs that we ended up going under was called the Music Lab.
Okay.
And it was a program that just kind of focused on songwriters, artists, creating music, like actually like what to do in the studio, the process of writing a song and all of that. And we did that program, and I say we because like it was me and my siblings.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
all were kind of like through there. But we did that program, and it really helped a lot. We were working um, with a guy. His name is Jack Red. And he's an artist from Chicago as
Okay.
well. Does stuff with like Chance the Rapper and stuff like that. But
Nice.
he was like kind of teaching us over there and kind of being a guy. Showed us how to work through the studio and stuff like that. And we recorded a few songs in that program. And then after that, like I don't know, things just kind of happened where I don't know, connections were made and like it just kind of flowed into like I just ended up having my own producer.
Okay.
Um and I was working with my family, my cousins who also produce. And then we just kind of started like making music like that in my aunt's living room. And I would send him a song like, oh, I wrote this or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And then like send him a voice note and he created a whole track to it. And then eventually, like, we just kind of started working a little bit more. Once I got back from college, I really, really, really started
Yep.
going into it like professionally,
Yep.
professionally. So yeah.
Love it.
Thank
We're so glad you did. So glad you did. Because
you.
the
Thank you.
songs are just, I think Force of Nature is probably my favorite, partially because I tend to call
Thank
myself
you.
a force of nature, but also
Mm,
just I loved the imagery and the language and the video and all those different things. So I really
thank
think that you were on
you.
the right
Thank
path
you.
with that one. And speaking of imagery and language and things like that, you talk a lot about in your songs sort of nature and love and the universe and God and things like that. So is that sort of just always around? What is sort of the inspiration for having a lot of that imagery in there?
Oh yes, absolutely. For me, well, music is an expression for everybody, but um, I really don't take for granted like the world around me, the things that you can feel just being able to walk outside and see the sun in the sky, um, grass, things growing around you, stuff like that. Love, being able to feel all of that is an extension of God and a gift from God. And so I always feel like it's really important to uh, just acknowledge that and give reverence to it, give reverence to God in that way by appreciating the things that He allows us to
Yeah.
use while we're here on earth. And He's literally all that I am is a reflection of Him. So I just
Yeah.
try to make sure that that is a running theme in any of my art that I create, not just music, just in general. I just
Well,
want people to feel God in everything that He's kind of created.
it definitely
So,
it segues into the next question, which is for gang, the video
or again,
that
yeah,
you did,
yeah,
right? Talk to us about why it was in a church. Was it a specific church? Is it a church that you've gone to? What were you trying to convey sort of with that video?
yeah. For gang, well, the song when I wrote the song, it was just kind of about my loved ones around me. How like my foundation is really really strong
Yeah.
from my team, to my family, my friends, and they all kind of help support me and like push me to where I have to go. So I wrote that just like as a dedication to them because they always support me. They always love me. I didn't give them any reason to. They just did. They just felt inclined to help me or to push me,
Yeah.
to get behind me, supply me with beats. helped me with like creative direction and a bunch of stuff like that. And so I just wanted to dedicate that to them. And um, and also, and then I attached to that. Well, I work with Nobi
Yep.
is his name. His name is
Yep.
Cozy Nobi.
Yep.
He produces a bunch of my beats too. Does a
Yep.
lot of my creative direction, a lot of
The
stuff. And he's
clothing, the
absolutely
styling. Yep.
amazing.
I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So uh, he came up with the idea to put pray for gang on the shirt because we always want to make sure, even if you're not like a prayer person, that you speak
Right.
positively about your the people around you, and make sure that if you are a praying person, cover them wherever they go. Just yeah, make sure you're always showing your love and checking on them, being a support system to them. And so pray for gang is kind of like that. Um, yeah, it's just like a slogan for that, you know.
Right. Right.
Um, and so with For Gang and Pray for Gang combining together in the music video, we felt like we had to do it in a church just because it was really fitting. And
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to, I guess, go in there and just, show that moment of going in and like being vulnerable and coming down and really just taking some time to be in a moment, meditating and praying or whatever it is that you do. Um, for the people that you love, for yourself, just taking some time away and really reflecting and giving thanks slash speaking good things over the
Yeah.
people you love. And yeah, the the church that I chose, it just was a random church,
Okay. Okay.
honestly.
I wasn't sure if it had like special meaning or
Whoever
anything like
let
that.
me in,
Right.
right? Basically, so but it was nice and quiet. It was a very nice atmosphere, so it was perfect. Like it worked out perfectly for the video. So
Yeah, it did.
yeah,
It really came together very nicely, and it just made me. I was like, okay, I wonder if there were like layers to this, and of course there were, and so I
yeah,
really
yeah,
enjoyed
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I think Time Lost though might be my favorite video. Do you have a favorite video? And if so, let us know because you have very creative videos, sexy
Oh,
and all those different
yeah,
videos and things like that. So let us know which one might be your favorite.
man,
I
that's a
know they're all
hard
your
question.
babies, so yeah, it's kind of hard to like,
Yeah, they
kind of
are.
hard to
It's
choose
like I
one.
love them equally. But I might have to say "Ain't Ready," just because all the people that I love, the
Yes,
gang that I was talking about,
yes,
for gang, that was all of them
yes.
in that video. After they
Needed the
had
party
just
vibe. Yeah,
got done, right? Yeah, 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 helping me set up and do all of that stuff. Yeah, it was lit, and
yeah,
so that's why it's my favorite video. I feel like that's like a good time capsule
yeah,
to where you could go back and look and just be like, oh, remember when we were there and
yeah.
doing this and jumping on the couches? Yeah.
I loved watching that one because yeah, it made you feel like you were there with you, like getting ready, like whatever, but you ain't really ready yet. Like, da,
Exactly.
da, da, and
Getting ready
hanging
to
out with
just go in the
everybody.
living room.
Yes, exactly. I'll definitely put a link to that video below. Do you have a
Check it out.
favorite performance that you've done so far? I watched your So Far Sounds one with no one else. Seen a couple of
Yeah.
different
I
performances of
love it.
yours.
Man, it's um I think that oh one of my favorite performances that I did was actually a so far show, and shout out to So Far
Yes,
Chicago because
definitely.
I have done so many shows with them, and they played a big part of me just trying to get where I'm going. But I was doing a So Far show, and it was at this black-owned bookstore. I don't know why the name is slipping me right now,
Is
but
it
I feel
Semicolon in Hyde Park?
yeah, semicolon,
Yeah. Yeah.
semicolon. Yep. Um, so I was doing a show there, and I didn't come with my band or anything like that. I just kind of came by myself and sang a cappella. And at that particular show, though, I did like a couple original songs, and they were all a cappella. But then I did like this song from a musical called Natasha Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812. I think that's what
Okay.
the full title is.
Hmm.
And I performed the song from there, and that was kind of like my first time doing like um, a musical theater song
Right.
for one of my audiences who might have expected me to be doing something a little different. And then after that, I actually played a game with the audience, and that was really fun because
Yeah.
I'd never gotten to do that with anybody else other than like the team that I used to assist and coach. at my old high school, and we used to play a bunch of games just because we were performers. So I was like, well, you know what? Since I don't have a band, I'm gonna come here
Yeah.
and play this game with the audience, and they loved it. Like it was so much fun, and it just changed like the complete tone of the room and everything. It was a really fun experience, and I don't know how often I'll be able to do that because so-fi shows are very intimate,
Yes.
and stripped down.
Yes.
And most shows that I do are with a full back line and
Yes.
with a full band and stuff like that. So it was really nice. It was a change of pace for me that I really
Okay.
enjoyed.
And for those of you that don't know, SOFAR stands for Songs from a Room. It was started in London, I believe, and it started in like
Yes,
his
it was.
living room. And he decided that he was going to take it around the world. And so then they did these intimate shows in like different places. And
Yeah,
I actually used to have a couple. My dad owned a store, and we had a couple of shows there. And they had,
really.
shows at bookstores and things like that. So they have shows
Yeah.
all over, and I cannot wait until we can all get back together and do those.
Me
Um,
either. I
yeah.
miss so far shows so
So
much.
great. So definitely shout out to So Far. So
Yes.
speaking of performances, you've been staying busy during COVID. Like you have not let up. I've seen
I
the work.
try not
And I'm
to.
wondering if you can talk a little bit about what's kept you motivated, because I've heard from a lot of creatives that it's been really difficult, to really be inspired to do the work or to really stay motivated. So what have you been doing? What tools do you have? Any advice that you have for other creatives to really push through this like sort of second half of this, right?
Yeah, it is. The second is like the second wave of
Second
this.
or third or
Um,
everyone.
exactly. It's really just to keep going. Like don't stop. You can't really achieve anything if you don't do it at all. Like the only way for it to get done or for you to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish is if you keep going and actually do it and put the work in. So with that being said, just the methods that I use to kind of push myself
Right.
into doing the work.
Right.
I don't know. I just keep reminding myself how like where I'm trying to be and keep like just my vision in mind all at all times.
Mm.
And then like just stand in prayer because I sometimes I really don't be motivated and I just be like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like really, really? Like I
Mhm.
know, I know it's like I have a lot of
Mm.
support and whatever, but just
Yeah.
praying about it. And I have people around me that love me too. So make sure that you have a good team as well, because they will definitely keep you lifted whenever you feel like you're about to fall. And then the last thing is just doing what you want and creating
Mm.
your life how you want to. If you spend a lot of time creating it for somebody else or doing things for somebody else or letting um, what someone else wants motivate you, then it'll always feel like you're,
Yeah.
having a hard time, or it'll always feel like work. So for me to try to make it not feel like work, I have to be doing what I want to do, making sure it's beneficial to me mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. And I really take that stuff seriously now. I didn't before. I just was kind of just doing stuff willy nilly, and but I really take um, like how creating my art and shaping my life, like how that really affects me
Yeah.
spiritually,
So,
mentally, all of that.
so
All of those. So
like really staying grounded and having like a community around you and all those different things.
yeah, yeah,
Not sort of wavering for anybody but yourself, right? Because you are the one
yeah,
goal. And I think in this industry, it is so hard to stay true to what you want to do because everybody's going to have an opinion, right? Everybody's going to be like, you should do this,
hmm
you should do this, you should try this. And
exactly.
you really have to have a very strong sense of self and strong sense of what you want to
Hmm.
do. So I love that
Yeah.
you touched on that. You keep mentioning the future, the goal. Let's manifest some stuff
You
today.
know what?
You
It's a yeah, I did 11:11. I did write down all of
Yeah,
my
that's a
affirmations
portal
and
day.
all of that. Yeah, just to make sure. But without going into like specifics, I'm really um just trying to enhance the quality of my life for my personal life and then for those around me, and however that may look, I'm grateful because I'm not like rushing anything or anything like that, but yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I do things better. I'm looking around to see what's not working and
Mhm,
removing that,
mhm.
seeing what is working and putting in more of that. And so like whatever that looks like will kind of be success for me when I finally feel like I've reached that place where I'm
Yeah.
I'm satisfied, and I feel like I'm well, I probably will never be satisfied if I'm really like if I'm being honest. I probably will never be, but it's not like a materialistic
Right.
like wanting to a sort of thing, but I just there's always something more that you can do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be something more I'm going to do. I don't necessarily have like a very specific picture, but I do see myself in a more progressed stage and a little bit more like what is the word I'm trying to think of?
Yeah.
No,
The
just kidding.
vibes, you know, that's our vibe. Yeah, exactly.
But just seeing myself flourish,
Yeah,
um, and just working towards that. That's kind of where I'm looking. That's where my vision is, and so
definitely.
that's
I
how I'm
love
moving.
that. What is Shantina Lynet's dream collab?
Dream
And
collab.
if you need more than
Um,
one, I'll allow it.
yeah. So for us, I would say her,
Yep. Okay.
and but just for songwriting, like a songwriter that
Okay.
I would absolutely love to collab with is James Pomeroy because
Yes.
he's like my absolute favorite songwriter
Yes.
ever. Um, and then probably I do have a long list, and I just thought about
Look,
like
let's just
five
put it
different
out there
people.
so
I'm
that they
like,
can
let
see
me
it.
just pick one out of
Yeah, they can see
there.
it. It's fine.
But I would love to collab with Summer Walker. I would love to collab with Rihanna. I know these are like
They're not
really
that
like
far off.
big
They're
goals, but
not that
like,
far off. We're gonna
well,
put
they're
5.
attainable to me. They're attainable, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yep.
But yeah, so just because I've always liked their music, I always liked their approach to music. I would love to collab with um, PJ Morton.
Oh, I don't know
Uh,
PJ Morton.
yeah, I'm just skipping around the genres.
Wait,
Like
who's PJ though? What?
PJ Morton.
Yes, you gotta tell us.
Yeah. So PJ Morton is actually he's a singer songwriter musician. He's been making music for a while
Yeah.
actually. And yeah, he's gotten a lot more. Well, he's blown up a lot more as of recently, and um, yeah, he. If you look him up on YouTube, he's got like live concerts and
Okay.
stuff like that that you can watch, and it's featured a bunch of good singers and good musicians just from all over. Um, and yeah, he's always done a great job with them. Like he's included orchestras and stuff like that. So I would have definitely loved to be love to be a part of something that he does in the future.
Okay.
Just because I love his take on music is amazing. Even like his covers that he does, like he does a cover to "Close to You."
Yep.
I don't know if you ever "Close to You" by the Everything Blanks. Like I feel like everything blanks as soon as I need it, but you
Yeah.
guys will look it up. You know,
We'll look it
"Close
up.
to
We'll look
You."
up PJ Morton.
Right.
Close to
Why
you.
do birds suddenly appear? That
Hey.
song. So yeah, he has a cover to that and it's really good. So yeah, I would love to collab with him amongst many
Listen, I
others.
can't wait until we hear those collaborations because I already know they're gonna happen, and I can't even.
Yes,
I just
they
your
are.
voice, like I said, is so unique that all of those artists would
Thank
sound
you.
so great with you. So I can't wait to see and hear when they happen, and I can't wait to see the videos that go along
Yes,
with them. Um,
yes.
anything that you're working on, anything you want to promote, anything we should know
A
what's coming up before the end of the year.
lot.
Yeah, you
So
stay
before
busy.
the end of the year, you said what?
You stay busy. That is true.
I mean, I really, I try
Yeah.
to because I feel like if I sit down, then I go crazy.
Yes.
But um, a lot of stuff. There's music videos coming.
Okay.
I do have a project that I'll be dropping at the top of next year, so that's really good. Before that, I do have a project that I'm going to be a part of with my management team.
Okay.
Shout out to my management team,
Yes.
Miracleized Management and 323 Music Group, because they are absolutely amazing. And they've been pushing and working for me this
Yeah.
whole time. So I love them. And so my manager, Lyrical, is actually going to put together a project.
Okay.
So that's going to be the next immediate step, I'll say. for like coming out with music and things like that. But I have a lot of good stuff coming out, a lot of good content coming out. Yes,
We're
just
so
what people
excited.
should.
So excited. I
Yes,
can't wait to see it. I will put all the links to follow you below, and everybody
yes, yes,
follow,
please.
and definitely stay tuned because it is just once you get in, it's kind of a rabbit hole, and I'm just like looking at
Yeah,
all the videos, looking at all the
it really
songs
is.
and everything like that. So I love it, and we already know
Yeah.
that Chicago girls do it better. So I
Period.
can't even imagine what you're
Period.
gonna come out with. Final question. I semi warned you that this was coming, but and so you might have an idea of what it is, but
Right.
Harold's or Uncle Remus.
I knew it. I knew it. And
You
you
knew
know
it.
what?
You
I'm
knew it
just
was
gonna
coming.
have to pick Harold's. I mean,
You made a good choice.
that's just it. It's just Harold's. No offense to Uncle Remus,
No
but
offense at all. We love
it
all our.
takes it takes a lot to beat out Harold's.
It really does.
Harold's been
It's
they've
really.
been on
They've been
it.
around for a very long time. We love a good Chicago
They
brand.
really have.
Thank
And they
you
built up a
so much,
respect.
Santina.
You are so
It's been
welcome. Thank you for
amazing.
having me on
Yes,
here.
I'm so happy and so excited to show everyone this, and I can't wait to see what you come out with in the new year.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ella.